in the oil and gas industry, you got to have faith in your landman that they're going to find the right land for you to go drill on next. My next guest today, we'll talk about that and much more on this episode of The Crude Truth.
In 1901, at Spindletop Hill near Beaumont, the future of Texas changed dramatically as, like a fountain of fortune, thousands of barrels of oil burst from the earth towards the sky. Soon, Detroit would be cranking out Model Ts by the millions, and America was on the move, thanks to the black gold being produced in Texas. Now, more than a century later, the vehicles are different, but nothing else has truly changed. Sure, there may be many other alternative energy sources like wind and solar and electric. But let's be honest, America depends on oil and entrepreneurs, and if the USA is truly going to be independent, it has to know the crude truth.
Well, I tell you, my guest today is one that is just blazing a trail for conservative women all across not only Texas, but the United States. If you don't find her, negotiating new land deals across this great state, you'll probably find her hanging out with her grandson or spreading a little faith. My guest today is Bridget Tippen. Bridget, how are you?
Hi, good morning. I'm fine. How are you?
Oh, I can't complain. Thank you so much for coming on
Absolutely.
The Crude Truth.
Thank you for having me.
And just diving in, you tell the crude truth on a daily basis. And that was the thing that really drew me in is like, hey, I wanted to invite you to come on and I wanted you to be yourself. And because that's what you're doing on LinkedIn and all your other social media platforms. And I think right now conservative women need to stand tall and be proud and be loud. And that's something I think that you're doing.
Yes, sir. I think it's everybody wants to hear what isn't said. And that is really important to me. My faith, my beliefs, the things I stand up for, I stand up and I stand up tall. And I think that's what this country needs. Mm-hmm. Is that lack of faith is just running rampant. Yep. And we need that in this world. And so I'm going to continue to make my mark.
Okay. Well, by making your mark, let's talk, this is the crude truth, and we do talk a little bit about oil on this show when we can. And, how is it that you started your trail in making the mark that you do today?
I tell you what, I came from an executive assistant background, and I worked my way up from an accountant to a lease analyst to a land analyst. And my boss, Frank Bracken, he asked me, he said, what's it going to take to keep you here? And I said, okay, I want to be a landman. And he, by golly, made it happen.
Wow.
So I became a landman, and I drilled 11 wells consecutively and carried about 65% of the development for our company and did a great job. Had all my surface locations, and these are allocation wells. So you'll hear that a lot in South Texas with all the competitive operators. We're all banding together in order to drill those allocation wells.
Wow. Okay. So you're doing a lot of this down in South Texas.
Yes, sir.
A female landman in South Texas. Wow. I bet you've got some stories we can't even share on air. This is a family show, so we got to keep some of those stories, please.
I tell you what, they know I'm a Christian.
Awesome.
So they've always been very diligent when I go into the field.
Oh, man.
So they are very gracious and kind and know that, my values mean more than anything. So I've always had a pretty nice, easy ride. And that's because of my faith and because I profess those things.
Would you say that because you just used the word profess, that it's like, hey, I'm standing up tall, but I'm not shoving my beliefs down your throat, is part of the reason why everybody was able to respect you out there and be able to work with you and have a great time?
Yes. If somebody would make a snide remark or a remark that I didn't agree with, I just give them a look and give them that mom look, and they kind of got it figured out. But I don't really have to say anything. I just, I live my life a certain way, and when you live your life in that particular manner, people tend to see it and they follow it. I hope they follow it. I want them to follow it.
Well, you're coming in now on a 15-year career as a landman, and I just think that that's got to be, what a journey that has been. Where are you currently kind of looking at things here? Not getting too specific.
No, that's okay. I work for a company called Transglobal. You want to talk about? They are just a great company. They are quick turnaround. They've got the best equipment, but most importantly, they're family oriented. They care about your family. They care about your success. And I have never been so blessed to come to a company. I think that was absolutely God-given.
Well, you mentioned God just now, and I know that whenever on all your socials, you're always, saying little prayers, or you're putting out there positive messages, or you're wearing these real I call them goofy, but all these T-shirts that have positive messages on them. What made you start doing that?
The T-shirt was by accident.
Okay.
So I go to a little Christian store, and they've got some neat T-shirts. So I started wearing them, and it caught on. People are like, where are you getting your T-shirts from? And, just random places. So I thought, well, might as well keep it going. People are enjoying it, and it captivates the audience. Yeah. So they read my message, and I direct my message to what my shirt says. And it's in a positive light, and people enjoy it. They capture what I'm trying to say, and it goes along with the shirts. So, what better way to get your message across but by visual and by reading it?
Absolutely. That's the one reason why I wanted to invite you on today, was so that your message can even get out there, hopefully a little bit more. I know my my 2 viewers that like to watch the show, and hi to those 2 viewers. And but no, your message is really spreading. And getting back to the opening, that was another reason why I wanted to get you on, that you are really part of a movement that I think has just really in the last it's really picked up in the last few years. However, it's really picked up, I feel like, in the last 6 to 12 months, of the conservative woman standing up and being loud and being proud, and more importantly, and not being rude or being mean or vulgar towards anybody, but just really doing great things by sharing, and really, in a way, almost being a mother that's the way that it's written in the Bible. Not to go too much into that, and I do believe in Jesus Christ, so I'm not trying to steer away from going into the religious part of it, but I do feel like that, hey, you're talking about values of a mother that are religious based, and there's nothing wrong with that. How do you feel about that?
I've got 2 grown children, and I want to set that example for them. I want to lead them in that path. And one humbling experience that I have, because I'm a patriot through and through. I just appreciate, those who have served and those who are serving now. And my son, during his invocation prayer at rodeos, he's a PRCA rodeo announcer.
Okay.
He talks about the servicemen and women, how they signed on the dotted line to protect the freedoms he gifted us. What more powerful statement can you have than that?
Yeah.
And I still get chill bumps to this day with him saying that, and that just put it. That was my son.
Yeah.
That was my son saying that. That was my son appreciating those things and the freedoms and the gifts that we've received from God.
Wow. You talk about the veterans, and I like that. Signing on the dotted line. They do, and. We do our best that we give back, and in fact we just do that when we can. But wow, to put your name on the dotted line, I've never thought of it that way, that these guys are doing that. And being a patriot, I think it means different things to other people, to different people, but I think at the end of the day, it should mean we stand for the flag and we kneel for the cross.
Right.
And not everybody has to kneel for the cross, because it says in our Constitution that you have the right to believe whatever you want. And, it is your right also to, whether or not you do or do not want to hold your hand across your heart. But I do think, hey, you're in the greatest country in the world. And I've said this before, that, you have people at our Texas border here just literally dying to come across to live in the United States. This is the greatest place on earth. And if you don't believe me, go to some of the other countries where you can't choose your religion, and you can't choose who you want to marry, or women aren't treated the same way that they should be treated on a daily basis here in the United States.
Yes, and with our faith and our freedoms, people forget that. People forget we're given this gift.
Yes.
And we need to take care of it. We need to flourish it. What do you have to lose?
Yeah.
What do you have to lose by your faith, by God, by your country? You have nothing to lose other than making this world a better place.
You're absolutely right. I like that very much. And we should always be able to stand up for this country. I call President Biden because that is who he is. He is our president of the United States of America. I definitely don't agree with anything that he's doing. And kind of moving into that realm right now, being a landman right now, are y'all having any difficulties getting any leases or anything like that with all these regulations that he's put in place in the last 18 months?
I did some contract work for a company, and that's with the BLM.
Okay.
They deal with the BLM.
Yeah.
And I know that they've crossed some issues with the BLM. So it's going to start there.
Okay, and just so we're clear,
The Bureau of Land Management.
The Bureau of Land Management.
Yes, sir.
And,
yes, sir.
So yes, we have to deal with what's called the Bureau of Land Management. And what do they do?
They are that's the government that supports the or has the land and controls the public land.
So we're hearing, and I see a little bit of it, but since you're a landman, and you're okay with landman, or you like being called
that's
landman?
what it is. Hey, I'm proud.
There you go.
I am
so
proud.
None of this. See, I mean, and there's a difference, and I know I'm kind of switching back over to the conservative woman here for a second, but I feel like there's a difference between being a proud conservative woman and this feminist that's like, oh, it's like, no, it's a landman, and that's what I am. And you just said it. I'm proud of being a landman.
And I earned it.
There you go.
I earned it by fighting tooth and nail, and I am okay with it. And like I tell my readers, and I want to make this very clear, is that we can agree to disagree. I'm not going to sit up on my pedestal and tell you you're wrong.
Mm-hmm.
I can look at your perspective, and I can appreciate some certain things about it as you can mine.
Right.
And I think there needs to also be a happy medium. You don't have to always be negative and negatory about, other people's feelings. Right. You have to educate them.
Yes.
And I think the patience to do that is for saints. And, I try to do that with my readers and try to, make them see from my perspective, and I see from theirs.
Well, I know patience is a virtue, and I know sometimes I have to say a little prayer to, saying, God, grant me the patience,
Yes.
Especially when you get the young roustabout workers out there trying their best, and it's like, he did his best,
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
God, give me a second there, young man. Give me a minute.
Don't make mama come out.
Right? No, my son and my wife have been out on a couple of well sites, and my wife is definitely once or twice had to tell the guys like, hey, let's not be like that,
Yeah.
like, or else gonna see something come out here, and I'm like, guys, let's not do that. Yeah, zip it. Watch him out. But no, getting back to the Bureau of Land Management, are y'all having any issues getting permits on the Bureau of Land Management at this time?
It's always a difficult time. It's always difficult because they take forever. They got to go through the red tape.
Okay.
So it's always really, really difficult. Now, I haven't been on the forefront in the last 6 months.
Okay.
So I'm not sure if it's tightened up or not.
Okay.
But I foresee that happening.
Okay.
And I foresee it being an issue.
Man.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm not looking forward to that. I know right now we're in the midst of negotiating some new terms and on some new leases, and it's a time where everybody's really trying to get all that they can get in a way, when the costs have only gone up and it's really not helping anything.
Yeah.
I was telling somebody the other day that here we're at today, give or take a $90 oil. I haven't looked specifically since early this morning, but we're still paying prices at $110 oil.
Yes, we are.
And so it's like, that little margin in there of that $12 to $15 does not help at this time by any means.
No, and it's going to catch up. You don't, don't get anything for free.
No, you never do.
So it always, it comes up and creeps up and bites you.
Yes, ma'am. No, it always does. And hopefully, we were kind of briefly talking about earlier about how before we started recording that, this is such a different time. And, here you're talking about things are going to catch up and bite you. I do think we're headed that way.
Yes.
With our oil. It's like the demand is there. The production is not. And I don't see us going down in the price. I know we've dipped down to about, $89, $90, or not 80, but about $90. And I do see us still staying at about $100 for at least the next 18 to 24 months.
Yeah, I do too.
And, we got this conservative movement hopefully happen for the November elections, but I don't think we'll see any real change in the price until after the presidential election in 2024.
That's correct. And may God bless us all.
Right. That's the truth.
Mm-hmm.
That's the crude truth right there. Is like, may God bless us all,
Yes.
because we don't know what's going to happen next. And I will say this, and I'll give you my crude truth, is that if we don't change our president in 2024, I think we are headed down a completely different path for the United States of America. And I'm not a conspiracy guy. Somehow President Trump became president in 2016 and disrupted whatever was going on. We had a really great, strong economy. And I'd like to think that whoever the next president is, we can get back to that, And you doing what you're doing, by standing tall, being proud, and being just strong in your faith. And that's all that I think that you're doing that really makes what you're doing awesome. You're not, again, shoving faith down anybody's throat. You're, like some of these evangelistic individuals
Sure.
do. You're just being yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You're saying, hey, I believe in God, and I do believe that we have a great nation, and there's nothing wrong with that. And I hope more people only continue to stand up next to you and do that.
I hope so as well.
Man. Well, Bridget, I cannot thank you enough for coming on the episode today of The Crude Truth. If people want to find you and get a hold of you on your social medias, what are those?
It is, I have a blog. It's called isthisreallyme.org. And then you can reach me on LinkedIn at Bridget Tippen, and I'm on Facebook as well, Bridget Kasner Tippen. So I'd be happy to visit with y'all. And if you have any questions about me, you're welcome to ask.
Oh man, you're just an open book.
Yes,
you're not afraid.
No, I'm not.
Wow, that's awesome. Well, Bridget, thank you again for coming on,
You're
and
welcome.
we'll see you again soon.
The easiest way to start your own podcast and TV show? Real News Communications Network. Stand out from your competition. Produce streams of high-quality social media content. Become a thought leader in your industry. With RNCN, you get to be the host. We handle everything else. Tour one of our 3 locations in Dallas, Fort Worth, and the Colony. Call 972-402-6333 or visit launchashow.com to find out more.